It's game time. The Kid Gowie. Ravens Nation. All we know is purple and black. And if you're not a Ravens fan, Welcome to Baltimore, Maryland, M&T Bank Stadium, where opponents don't make it out alive unless we bury them. Every team be afraid of them, especially all the quarterbacks, cause our defensive linemen won't hesitate to leave you sack. Let's take a minute, go back to Super Bowl 35. Domination was an understatement up against the Giants. Numerous touchdowns, they put up numbers, and it didn't take a nutritionist to see they hunger. Only stat Kerry Collins could get was interceptions. He must have thought throwing to the D counted as receptions. The pass was legendary, but don't sleep on the present. Our secondary make quarterbacks avoid that direction. You tryna run the ball, you better hope your blockers work. You can juke, you can spin, but your destination's the turf. This is a man's game, being soft will get you hurt. Watch the defense force a fumble and the fans go berserk. 17 weeks, only one league out of 32 squads. No one's messing with our team. We all bleed black and purple, you can check our IVs. Raven Nation fly high, watch us all spread our wings. Put your game face on, embarrass the competition. You ain't talking about the greatest if the Ravens aren't mentioned. Screw every other team, cause those dudes are whack. In Baltimore, the only thing we know is purple and black. Go! They always win when the championship's on the line. So if you hoping that they failed, then you really wasting your time. Going as the 49ers, I'm pretty sure they remember when they made a comeback, but weren't declared the winners. 2 rings down, but you know they won't stop now. If the opposing D's caught slipping, you know exactly how that goes. That's another deep connection for 6 points in the end zone. The stadium goes wacko as Ravens put in work. Pittsburgh Steelers, that still curtain is looking more like a skirt. So tell me who they say is gonna beat the Bengals? Who used to beat the Browns until they relocated? Ravens, they are one of the greatest. There's simply no denying it. To beat them, bringing your A game's a requirement. With the youth of the team, I bet they still be dominant, even after the greatest linebackers retirement. 17 weeks, only one league out of 32 squads. No one's messing with our team. We all bleed black and purple, you can check our IVs. Raven Nation fly high, watch us all spread our wings. Put your game face on, embarrass the competition. You ain't talking about the greatest if the Ravens aren't mentioned. Screw every other team, cause those dudes are whack. In Baltimore, the only thing we know is purple and black. Go!
Welcome here, SCG Sports. So we haven't done one of this in a minute. If you've been following me for a while, you know I moved back to the US, and when I moved back, I still have my whole setup. Well, I didn't have my whole setup at the beginning. I was between hotels and all that stuff. So essentially, I abandoned the channel for a little bit. I still did AFC North Talk. So shout out to my guys in AFC North Talk. They helped me a lot while I was on all my stuff. But here we are in the playoffs. My hope is we're going to do 2 streams a week during the playoff run. Then we're going to go to 1 stream during the off season. As we're going to talk about the off season, you know, free agency. We're talking about player profile. So there's a lot of things that are going to go out. Team Remy, shout out to you. Zach Shelish. Sorry if I mispronounced your last name. Baltimore Boy 410, Mary Ziegler. Thank you for joining the live stream, and the people that are watching through here or through Twitter. We're simultaneously broadcasting on X. My first time broadcasting on X, or my first time doing a dual broadcasting. So shout out to you. Shout out to my girl Nancy. Te amo. My wife. Anyway, so guys, let's talk about this game against the Texans. Look, I was upset in the AC North Talk here. A lot of Ravens fans predicting the triple B. Y'all know I'm very superstitious. Very superstitious. When it comes to the Ravens, I'm extremely superstitious. And y'all here trying to put me on the spot with the triple B. I'll tell you guys, I don't appreciate it. Not because I'm not confident. I'm confident that we can win. I'm confident that we will win. But you put the triple B, you put that energy in the ether, you put that energy out there. I don't like it. I don't like it. And it's good to be confident. We need to be careful between confident and cocky. Shout out to you, King Tay. Thank you for coming to the stream. So, that being said, let's talk about this game. And by the way, if you want to be on the call today, hopefully this works. We haven't done it in a minute, but if you want to be in the show, there's a number there scrolling down 443-292-2337. It's 443-292-2337. Text me and I'll call you back. Okay. So, Joker, shout out to you, man. Freddie, shout out to you. Okay. So, Texans are a dangerous team. By the way, if you take for a moment and you look back the state of the AFC and the state of the NFC, the state of the AFC is such a powerful conference. Like you think about C.J. Stroud, a rookie, how good he has been, right? The Texans, Nico Collins, how good he has been as a receiver, right? That old line from the Texans, and then you pivot to Josh Allen and the Bills, although they started very slow, how hot they got. They won 6 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. How good they look good enough that they made it all the way to the second seed. And the Chief of Pat Mahomes is still Pat Mahomes. And that's your AFC. And if you think about the NFC, Purdy, right? Purdy, I'm not here gonna diss Purdy. But okay, Purdy, you got Purdy there, number one. But the Niners as a unit is a hell of a unit. And then from there you go the Bake Show, hot and cold. When Baker's hot, he's a nice quarterback. He nice, but he's not hot. So who you get? Then you get Goff, and then you get what's the other team? Bake Show. Oh, the Packers, which. Shout out to Love and the Packers, what they accomplished. I didn't thought that they were gonna make it this year. They made it, but the difference between the conference here. Anyway, so from there, let's think about what happened in this game between the Cleveland Browns and the Texans, because the reality is we played the Texans already, but the team that we play and this team are very different. Also, the team that we were and this team are very different. So it's true from both sides, because a lot of people will tell you, yeah, that Texas team, that was in the Texas team. Yeah, y'all didn't play against this CJ Stroud, against this team. I agree. This is not the same team we play. But at the same time, we cannot say that this is the same Ravens team that play there. First week on the Tom Monken offense. How this defense has grown as the season has gone. Not the same. It's not the same. So then we need to then taper down. And I think a good example is the Cleveland Browns, because the previous weekend is the Colts. And the Colts, not that the Colts are a bad team, but the Colts and the Texans, they know each other well, right? So this is a team that it's a divisional game. So it's harder to scout because divisional games are so much different. But then we talk about the Browns, because the Browns and us play that same bread of football, especially on defense, right? Okay, so then let's analyze this a little bit further when we talk about the Browns and the Texans, because from there, then we can extrapolate some of this to see how it fits to the Ravens. So the Cleveland Browns, look, and it's gonna be hard for me to talk about their offense, right? Because of Flacco and but specifically this defense, because that's where CJ Stroud was lethal. One thing, and this is my first point, you want to lose to the Texans, do what the Browns did. Don't put pressure on CJ Stroud. On the flip side, the Ravens need to put pressure to CJ Stroud. It's only so much you can cover the receivers, right? And you're going to talk about no Marlowe in this game. So pressure on CJ has to be number one. More than it, number one, still turn the ball over, but that's true for every single game, right? But the pressure on CJ Stroud has to be critical. We did it in game one. Tunsil was there, but we did it in game one. We had to do it again. Yeah. And how we do it is how we've been doing it all year. Because if we think about the Browns, what the Browns do, they put 4 and 5. They say, okay, let's create one-on-one matchup. We're gonna have Miles Garrett, we're gonna push his tempo, we're gonna force them, right, to whatever team, right, to beat us, because as soon as you can rush, consistently put pressure with 4 or 5, that means you have 7, right? You have 7 out in the back. So that creates more confusion. So if we can 4 or 5 pressure, it's gonna start looking pretty. And that's what we did last, right? We pressure with 4. Sometimes we bring the blitz on the edge, right, to put that fifth on the corner, or sometimes we bring PQ from the middle. And that's about it. I don't think we should put all out blitz because those receivers are dynamic and CJ Stroud can be lethal. Okay. But if my guy McDonald is in the lab right now and cooking and looking into this, and what he has done all year is how we are going to create this pressure just between the 4 and 5, right? That's one. Browns didn't do it, and you saw what happened. Sorry. Browns didn't do it, and you saw what happened. They got cooked. They got cooked. They couldn't stop him. They couldn't stop CJ. And the Browns secondary is really good, especially the corners. We'll talk about the safety positions soon. Okay. The second thing that we cannot allow, if you're the Ravens on defense, this is all defensive stuff, is big plays. The Texans feed up the big plays. They are a splashy offense. And I understand because it happens to me, right? As a Ravens fan, sometimes I get nervous. I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Are we going to perform? Blah, blah, blah. But then you have to calm yourself down and think about, have we played against any team with there as a splash play, a big time? Yes, we did. Dolphins. What do we did to the Dolphins? Okay. Niners. What do we did to the Niners? What do we did to the Lions? Right? It's not like the Ravens are not proven, right? Niner was on the road. The other two were at home. This game is at home. By the way, fan base, make sure you show up and disrupt, the flow of the game for CJ Stroud and company. But anyway, so the splash play, and that's where your safety comes into play, right? Marcus Williams. Now, Marcus Williams is a player that in year 1 I love, and in year 2 I like. Like, he's still a good player, but the problem with Marcus is ever since he partially tore that pectoral muscle, his tackling, ugh, he's like half tackling people, right? So that's my problem with him. But as a too high safety, him and Hamilton, and you're gonna move Hamilton all over. And I actually think if Marlowe doesn't play, you're gonna see Hamilton more in the slot as a slot corner than you're gonna see him in the safety position. Because at that point now you're gonna have Stevens, you're gonna have Darby, you're gonna bring Gino to free safety with Marcus. Okay, so with that say, that big splash, those safeties need to be ready because CJ, which does not turn the ball over a lot, leaves the ball there hanging, leaves the ball in the ether, leaves the ball floating, throws it in double coverage. Our safeties need to be ready to pick those balls, right? And we are a streaky team. Not streaky team. We have been really good forcing the turnover. And this is a game that, again, turnovers can shift the game, any game, right? Any game. It's important for us. If there's turnovers, we are on the positive side on the turnover margin. We win that, right? Pressure will allow that. If pressure gets there, you will see CJ then starting to try to force the ball, right? If pressure gets there and we get up to a lead, you will see CJ try to force the ball. And that's when the interception needs to happen. And that's when the interception, when it happens, we take advantage of it, right? We cannot drop the ball. That's when you go from this game is tight to start working on opening, to start working to see if we can expand a lead, right? So again, that's second point on defense. Pressure him, and don't allow the big play and the safety need to be ready for interception. The third people won't talk about this enough, but Singletary has had a quietly very good year. And when we talk about Singletary and we talk about our defense, even though our numbers against the run are good, I feel like sometimes we give up too many yardage. We allow too many yardage. And sometimes I don't know if our numbers are this good because we have blown out a portion of the schedule and teams just stop running, right? They stop running and then our numbers look great. Or is it really that good? I'm just not giving them the benefit of the doubt. But I feel like when teams want to run, they can run on us. And that is worrisome because if a team like the Texans can't, with Singletary, can't establish the run, that could be a problem. Play action now rolls. Play action comes into effect. And now after play action, where's play action? You bring down those safeties, you suck the linebackers down, and now there's holes. There's a lot of green to pass the ball. And also a quiet matchup that I'm not necessarily looking forward to is the running back coming out of the backfield against Patrick Queen. I think the Texans are going to try to exploit that. I think they're going to try to exploit that. And it will be interesting because PQ usually doesn't thrive in there. And my hope is if they do that, and then we're playing single high or two high safety, and whoever's on that side, meaning Gino or Marcus, sees PQ trailing, they can step up and make the pick. Because I think they're gonna try that play one or twice in this game. Okay? Before I go to the offense, shout out to the other people that keep watching here. The Joker, yeah, man, I missed the lives too. And again, they're coming back. Tyron, Simon McCarthy here says, I'm a Browns fan, but I hope the Ravens win. Shout out to you, man, and go all the way. They have been unreal this year and have been by far the most consistent. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for that. Zach says, in the playoffs, it big. It's the playoff is big difference. Yes, it is. That's why I'm. This is why I'm comparing the Browns game, playoff game, with this game, not the first game of the year. And from X, oh, by the way, the Joker was from X. Okay, so that's cool. Jorge Lopez Vallejos. The run has to be stopped. Exactly. Yes. This Singletary needs to rush under 50 yards. Under 50 yards. No question. If they have a running game, that's problematic. That is problematic because if they can establish a good running game, now they can attack you from both sides. So that means Marabike, as much as I love when he gets the sack, I want to make sure he seals that line, right? I don't want no guards running free to the second level, right? Pierce needs to close that wall there. I need Jones, Washington, all of them, right? I need the edges to be set, right? Clowney does a great job. Olafeowe does a decent job also there. Benoit does a pretty good job. All that needs to be sealed. Okay? Timeline for Marlowe. I think Marlowe is working to see if he can come back at some point in the playoffs. It doesn't look like it's going to be this game, by the way. The Joker asks, you think, let me put these on the screen. You think Cook does well in this game? He most likely will get brought up. He will be brought up, yes. Actually, I will be surprised if they don't just put him in the 53-man roster. I think he's going to be in the 53. And then I think they're going to try to see if they can sign Gordon back in the practice squad. That being said, I think they're going to use him sporadically and see how he plays. If he plays like 2 years ago, we might have found a gem, right? What I like about Dalvin Cook, and people haven't mentioned, as I'm going to be transitioning to the offense soon, but it's his ability on the passing game, right? We have Hill. Gus is a little bit underrated. I think he's better than people give him credit, but he's not like excel in the passing game. Dalvin Cook in the open field, he's really good. Dalvin Cook in the passing attack, he's really good. So I like that. He's not a fumbler also like Gordon, so You know. Yeah, I think Andrews will play. My big thing with Andrews is I think they should put him in the pitch count. You put him in a pitch count and just let him see. You see how he does, and don't overuse him, right? Because not only for this year, it's just for his future. I think he's still gonna be a Raven for years to come. You don't want to do something to harm him, but I think he will play enough to see an impact. But he will. You'll see still likely, like because likely has earned that play time as well. Okay, let's talk about this offense. And it's hard, like I said, to project the offense for the Browns and the Ravens. But in that first half, before Flacco made the big interception, this offense was moving the ball well, very well actually. But if you will tell me, like, okay, so what do we need to do to have a successful day on the offensive side? I actually think establishing the run in this game will be key. Cleveland could never, right? D'Amico said, you know what, you're going to beat me by air. Okay. I want to keep D'Amico and company honest. If we stop attempting to run, then we're making the game one-sided. Not one-sided, but, everything now he can scheme for the pass, right? So we need to keep him honest. We need to run the ball. We need to run the ball effectively. This is a game that I might see Lamar running a little bit more if it's tight, right? Because now it's playoff, it's different. It's not like in the season you're like, I don't want you to run. But in the playoff, you're like, yeah, boy, run. If we need that first down, you go ahead, run the ball for that first down. Consequentially, I think a matchup that we need to watch is their rookie, Williams, against a right tackle that I'm blanking on his name, right? Morgan Moses, right? Moses, the rookie usually, or what I've seen, he likes to line a lot in the right side of the line. And that's what Moses is, right? So when Moses is there, we're going to see this one-on-one matchup, how this one-on-one matchup plays. And if he needs help, then you might start seeing Andrews or likely somebody shipping him so he can be in. But Moses is a key factor here because if Moses is being eaten alive, it's not good. But actually, if you go back, the whole O-line has to perform well. Like if Lamar's there with 0 seconds and getting crushed and not having time to throw, that's not great. But against Cleveland, it wasn't like that. There was pressure, but Cleveland's O-line was hurt. But there was pressure, so we need to make sure that that pressure doesn't get to Lamar, right? And also in the case of Lamar, he needs to identify when the blitz is coming, right? And then Monken needs to have hot routes actually it's not even Monken because Lamar at that point needs to change, right? He needs to change the call and he needs to know there's a hot with Zay or with Bate or with Odell on the slant, whoever, and needs to be ready to throw it, right? If they're coming with the blitz. Or if they're coming to the blitz, but it's not through the middle, and let's say they go 6 or 7, everybody in the middle gets witten, like it's a crease that opens, he needs to take it, right? He needs to take it. Don't sit in the pocket, just take it. If they're going to blitz you and leave that much green, take it, and I like my chances in the open field, Lamar against whoever, right? This defense for the Texans is good, but not great. We're going back to the offense. This offense has been proven against really good defenses. So that importance of protection, importance of the trenches on both sides is something I always preach. But in this game, obviously in the playoffs, it's even more important. Receivers obviously can drop the ball, but I think the receivers have an advantage. They have one great corner, Stingley. Okay. Stingley gonna watch Odell? Okay. Bate and Zay need to eat. Stingley wanna watch Zay? Okay. Bate and Odell need to eat. I doubt that he's gonna watch Bate, but I'm assuming in some place he might. Then the other two need to eat, and if not, the tight ends. Tell me who in this team is gonna stop a Mark Andrew and Likely. And when I'm saying this team, I'm talking about the Texans. I don't see it. That's your matchup right there. The tight ends in this game are your matchup because I don't see in that team who is going to stop the tight ends. So in on offense, the key is protecting Lamar. It's given establishing the run. Don't abandon the run. Making guess. What are we gonna do? Are they gonna run? Are we gonna run? Are we gonna throw? Right? RPO. Make them confused. They haven't seen a quarterback like Lamar in a while. Make them confused. D'Amico's a great defensive coordinator. He's a great coach. Make them confused. Also, time of possession will be key because again, CJ Stroud will be coming. He'll be humming. Tight ends is the matchup. Tight ends is the matchup you want. Tight ends is the matchup. They are the matchup you want in this game. You people will talk to you as Zay Flowers, and yes, Zay will be important. People will talk to you about Odell. Odell will be important. People will talk to you about Bate. Bate will be important. But the tight ends, I think, in my opinion, are the matchup that is to it's the matchup that we need to exploit. Njoku, I felt like every time I was looking, he was open. Bryant, which is their TE2, was open. Njoku not better than Mark Andrews. Likely eons better than Brian, and I think it's the dude's last name. Okay? So again, Stingley can shut down a receiver. We had three really capable receivers, and he had great tight ends. And also, again, the other thing I would like to see is running backs in the open field. I will tell you this because we started this stream with Zach saying like a lot of people are picking the Texans. I should give me a reason why I should believe in the Ravens, right? I think the Texas defense is good. But if I have to put a scale of Ravens offense against the Texas defense, I think the percentage, if you want to put it like that, the Ravens are 65 to 35, right? Like 65%. But like if we put both teams, I think on offense versus their defense, our offense is 65% versus their 35. So we are more than we are capable of putting points against this defense, right? This is not a defense that I think is gonna completely shut us down, or had not that anybody has this year, but or had the ability to do that, right? But what this defense, in the case of the Texans, can do is make the pick, force the turnover, change the outcome, change the pace, change the momentum, right? So we need to be clean. We can't. And sacks are critical. Sacks are important. We cannot allow sacks, right? And if I'm thinking about their offense against our defense, I think it's closer 60, 55, 45, right? And you can even give it to their offense because their offense is good. The question here is, can we essentially take Nico Collins away from the equation? Can we say, nah, you ain't going to beat us with Nico Collins, right? You ain't going to beat us with Nico Collins. So pick somebody else. And he distributes the ball well. CJ Stroud, not Nico Collins. Okay, a couple of things here. The email, shout out to you, man. Thank you for joining the live stream. Texans didn't do well against the Titans. Yes. CJ doesn't throw picks. Yes. So again, I talk about the ability that if you go ahead and you have pressure on CJ, there's the potential. But that's not the picks that I'm talking about. Sorry if you misunderstood me, Zach. The picks that I'm talking about is for the Texans defense. The defense, right? They are not a defense that will shut you down, but they can be streaky on the turnover, on the fumble, on the picks, right? And you don't want to throw the pick or fumble to make them change momentum against you, right? You need to prevent that. You need to play a clean game. You don't want to get them live, right? You throw a pick, you fumble, you suck the air out of that stadium for us, right? That stadium becomes quiet. They're feeling good about themselves. You don't want that. I think our offense is a lot better than their defense. I'm trying to say respectfully because I don't want to sound too cocky, but I think our offense is a lot better than what that defense for the Texans can offer, right? And on the other side, I think our offense and their or our defense and their offense are about equivalent, but let's give them a slight edge, especially because rules are shifted to the offense. Shout out to you, Lex. Get it. Shout out. Glad to see you, bro. Glad to see you. So, all that being said, and special team, obviously, you don't want to give any special team return. You don't want to give their kickers good. Justin Tucker's good. It's different in the elements. Their kicker's more used to kicking in the what you call a dome. So hold on, who's their kicker? What's it? Hold on. I wanna double check this. Sorry. Texan. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the kicker. So you don't want no special teams unless it's ours. But for their side, you don't want the special team to become a problem. No touch and returns and none of that. If the Texans stop you, you want to make sure Stroud kicks it deep, as he has had a great leg this year, and then you play the field position, and then you make sure your defense 3 and out, or allow less yardage, and then come back the ball to us, and we can play that field position game. I sure hope we can actually get to this damn Super Bowl, man. Yeah, I think the Ravens have all the tools, but as we talk about in the AFC is not an easy path. All these 4 teams are very deserving. All these 4 teams are really good. The Ravens proved in the regular season that they were better, but we're 0-0 now, right? We need to show, come to M&T Bank, you're going to get punished. Come to M&T Bank, you're not going to like it. It's going to be very cold. Texan team, a team that plays in the dome. We'll see how that factors. Yesterday, played Ohio State, so it was cold there. But we'll see how it factors. Well, Tyron says, Sonny, do you think you'll go to this game? I can't. I actually got tickets offered to me today, but I'm a coach for my daughter, and the game ends when the Ravens game starts. So family first. I'll be there for my daughter, and then then we'll come here and watch the game. Like it says, everyone keeps saying we played week 1, Stroud, and they are better, but they forget that was week 1 for us, and we're also a lot better. Yes, and like I said, I know you made it late, but that's what I said. That's how I opened this podcast, saying people will tell you that's not the same Texans team. And correct, it's not the same CJ Stroud. The chemistry with the receivers are better, right? Talk about the edge rusher Williams. That's not, and he had a great game against us, by the way. But that's not the same guy. He also has matured. He played better. But this is the Ravens in week 1 of the Tom Monken offense, right? Defensively, we talking about Clowney. He came like a couple weeks before the season. Benoit, which has to be able to contribute the same. The defense has gelled even more, and then on the other side, the offense has just matured and work on the kinks, and they had look really good. But yeah, I think the Ravens win this game. I'm gonna go 24-14. I think we scored late, and we made it 10 points. It's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a hard-fought game. I cannot, in good conscience, predict any blowouts in the playoffs. I know a lot of Ravens fans have been predicting that in the AFC North talk, but the Ravens are a good team. Have faith in your team. They're locked in. I say to everybody that said like, oh, but what do you think with Lamar? Lamar, if he will be like previous years, and Lamar had looked so different throughout the year, like his mentality, how he talks. Like after, I told my wife, like even after a game, he looks like he's not even happy because he's not satisfied, and that's I had loved the mentality throughout the year. Throughout the year, I love the mentality, and then I think that's what's different because right now, when this week of practice and last week was happening, they needed to be like, yo, okay, we took that week off last week. We don't play this week, but we need to practice hard, right? And I'm sure they did, and I'm sure they're ready. Smith talks all the talk. He better show the hell up, Roe Smith, for real. That was from Zach. Lamar is locking. He sounds like he's been waiting for this game his whole life. And I agree. I think there's opportunity to have a special season. You're battle tested throughout the regular season, and not that you were perfect, but you were battle tested and you're ready. And I think this team is ready. I think the Texans are a very good team, but I think the Ravens are better than them. And I think we're gonna show up and we're gonna look better and we're gonna play better than them. So with that, guys, I'm gonna let you go. I'm planning Saturday is the game. Saturday night, I might have a live stream with callers so we can talk about the game as soon as the game happens, and we can just hopefully be happy, hopefully be joyful. Hopefully, I'm here like popping it. Actually, not hopefully. We are gonna be joyful, and we're gonna be winning this game. But thank you for watching. Like I said, what I'm gonna be doing is live streams are coming back twice a week during the playoffs. Once the Super Bowl's over, then we're gonna go to once a week. We're gonna break player profile. We're gonna talk free agency. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you like, subscribe. I appreciate everybody that is here. People that are watching me through X. The people that are watching me through here. I appreciate it. Make sure you put comments with score predictions. I would love to see your score predictions. Thank y'all for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Peace out.